is I, Donald Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from Shadyside, Ohio, where I have just heard an absolutely incredible statement. It is absolutely incredible. But before I tell you what the statement is and who actually made this statement, I need to do a little bit of background information. About 2 videos ago, I said something about the lack of reaction from our president over the crisis in Libya. I surmise that the reason that Obama took so long to actually do anything about Libya was because of his buddies at British Petroleum. Remember, as I said then, that British Petroleum negotiated a big-time deal with our friends in the British government under Gordon Brown, a known leftist in their version of the Democratic Party called the Labour Party. And I also surmise that when the families of the victims of the Lockerbie bomber went to Obama and asked him to step in and stop this guy from being released by the British government, considering that their family members were killed by this Muslim extremist, nothing happened. The deal went through, the guy was released. Now the violence in Libya, and it took Obama, what, 48 hours, if not more, before he finally released a limp-ass statement about the violence in Libya, where he actually did not even mention the name of Muammar Gaddafi. In other words, it was a wimp-like statement. Oh yeah, he's gonna send Hillary Clinton to some human rights council in Geneva. And he actually said in his statement that the actions of all the unrest in the Middle East don't have a thing to do with us. Of course not. We have absolutely nothing to do with all the uproar and the protest about freedom and democracy for the people of the Middle East. We didn't have a damn thing to do with it. That's what he says. He wants to make absolutely certain that we, the United States, are not perceived as having anything to do with this outbreak of liberty and freedom in the Middle East. Well, he's achieved that. But what I want to do now is I want to talk to you about somebody that we all know and love all across this nation. And that man's name is Julian Assange. Now, we all know that Julian Assange is the mastermind behind the WikiLeaks. We also know that when all that information came out, the Obama administration, of course, condemned it. They didn't like it. They thought it was horrible. But I want you to think about this, too. Now, you and I understand that if we really wanted to, if we really wanted to get this guy, we could do it. After all, for some strange reason, we can't apprehend, or Obama can't apprehend Julian Assange, but for some strange reason, they don't have any problem with that Lockerbie bomber being set free. Coincidence? I think not. Now, I also want to point this out to you. The man that I am talking about that actually has this thing known as conviction is a man that I admire, and that man's name is George W. Bush. Because George W. Bush said this about a speaking engagement that he had when he found out that Julian Assange was going to be at the same event. That's right. This was some sort of event that they were both going to be at. Bush was supposed to give the keynote speech at the Young Presidents Association Global Leadership Summit in Denver, Colorado. But when he found out that Julian Assange was also supposed to speak at this group, Bush said, to hell with this, I'm not going to go there. And this is the reason he said, this is a direct quote, the former president has no desire to share a forum with a man who has willfully and repeatedly done great harm to the interests of the United States. That's what George W. Bush's spokesman had to say. The thing of this is, what you have here is a man of conviction. A man who believes, as I believe, that Julian Assange should be arrested and brought up on charges for treason and malfeasance. But no, Obama could do something about this if he wanted to, but this guy still runs free. Now, that is the act of a man of conviction. My hero, President George W. Bush, who stands tall for this nation when it needs it. And that's why I love this man. This man has conviction. Even when he went in to Iraq and fought that war to liberate people, liberate Afghanistan, liberate the people of Afghanistan and the people of Iraq. Now, you compare this to this pathetic response of Obama's to the Libyan and the outbreak of democracy all over the Middle East. Compare that to what George W. Bush had to say. And what he did, there are millions and millions of people all over the Middle East that live in freedom now thanks to George W. Bush. And we got that pathetic, spineless, worthless president of ours telling the world that we didn't have anything to do with the outbreak of democracy. And George W. Bush will not appear on the same damn stage with that worthless Julian Assange. And as I said before, if Obama wanted to do something about that guy, he'd be arrested and sharing a cell with Bradley Manning right now. But Obama won't do anything about it because we don't want to do anything to a guy who actually does damage to this country. And it pisses me off, and I'm sick of Obama, and I'm sick of his damn double standard. Instead, I want to praise my president, George W. Bush, for standing tall against this damn communist Julian Assange. Thank you, Mr. President. Until next time, this is your favorite Islamophobia, Ronald Reagan, a supporter of George W. Bush, saying this to you now. Until next time, when travesties like this break out, my tirades break in. Over and out.